ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. Today we will be discussing 3 suktas from Sage Kutsa in Jagati and Trishtup Chandasas. For 2 of them, Devatas are Rubhus, and the last one is on Ashwins. Suktam 110. Rubhus are to be considered as great scholars, scientists, engineers, etc. of those days. This sukta talks about them and their activities. 1.110.1 Tatam me apastadu. O Rubhus, you are like an ocean of shining virtues here. As the noble deeds done by me protect me, please make us fully satisfied again, since you have the sweetest intellect in teaching and preaching dharma, which is revealed by the Vedas. This is just by way of introduction to the sukta, a prayer addressed to Rubhus. 1.110.2 Abhogyam pra. O ancient Rubhus, please go to those kith and kin of mine coming from a distant place who are desiring to acquire knowledge leading to happiness. O men of true knowledge, when will you go to the house of an offerer of oblations who is prosperous on account of his noble deeds? Any kind of knowledge can be used for getting happiness. Objective knowledge leads to physical and mental happiness. Spiritual knowledge leads to bliss of Brahman. True knowledge is spiritual knowledge. Tat Savita O 110.3 O Rubhus, when Lord Savita, by giving you wealth of knowledge, led you to immortality, you make it known to all listeners. Like the cloud who eats the light of the sun, though one only, you make a person follow the fourfold knowledge revealed by the Vedas. Savita, soul of the sun, revealed self-knowledge to Rubhus, namely oneness of the self. They in turn explained to their disciples the fourfold knowledge contained in the Vedas to enable them to lead a healthy and peaceful life. Vishtvi Shami 1.110.4 Those Rubhus who are full of true knowledge and wisdom, who shine like the sun, who do noble deeds by performing sacrifices, by giving gifts, etc., spread their fame very quickly everywhere, and though mortals, they attain the immortal state. This Ruk and the next one describe how Rubhus attained the state of oneness. Kshetramiva those Rubhus who are being praised by people around, seeking and desiring food or knowledge available among the enlightened souls, attained that state of knowledge which reveals oneness of the self by generating food or knowledge, like the earth generating food for grass bodies of our living beings. 1.110.6 Amanisha, like offering ghee with ladle, We offer oblations with wisdom and intellect for those leaders of men who are established in the middle of the sky. Those Rubhus, gaining strength very quickly, attained the different worlds in the shining space of the protector of the universe soon. Seer of the Sukta and his friends are offering this Sukta as an oblation to those wise Rubhus who are established in the oneness state. The different worlds of the protector are Bhu, Bhuva, Swa, Maha, Jana, Tapa, Satyam. 110.7. Rubhurna Indra. The brilliant intellectual Rubhu, like Indra with his strength, becomes our protector. The very same Rubhu, with knowledge and food, becomes giver of food and happiness to us. O shining beings, in a favorable circumstance we shall win over the hosts of prosperous evil men who oppose the sacrificers. Rubhu becomes identified with Indra and he becomes one with Indra. Seer of the Sukta is hoping that in an appropriate time he may also attain the state of oneness by destroying his imaginary identity with his body. Nischarmana 1.110.8. O Rubhus, you give strength to a cow which has become just skin and bones, and you reunite the mother cow with the calf. O men of good knowledge, by your noble deeds you make aged parents strong and make them look like youthful persons. We go to the last book, 1.110.9. Vajebhir no. O Indra, along with brilliant intellectuals, the Rubhus, endeavors place with food and diverse wealth in facing our battles for acquiring knowledge. May Mitra, Varuna, Aditi, the oceans, the earth, and the shining space or sunlight magnify this wealth. We go to the next book, next Sukta. Sukta means 111. Kutsa, Rishi, Rubhus, Devata, Chandas, Jagati, Tushtu, as before. Takshandratham, Suvratam, 111.1. Those Rubhus, possessed of skill and wisdom in their work, designed and constructed power plants or sources of energy, making use of fire and water, like a steam engine, and built a nice vehicle for carrying mighty Indra and great wealth. They give youthfulness for aged parents and reunited the mother full of knowledge and her son. This is one more Sukta on Rubhus from sage Kutsa. All the ruks in this Sukta are not difficult for comprehension, even without much additional explanations. Rubhus are supposed to have constructed a steam-based power plant and a vehicle driven by such an engine. Alternately, assuming fire is spiritual light ray, then combination of spiritual light ray and water means flowing essence of Atma, Soma. So drops of Soma will become the vehicle. 111.2. O Anu Yajnaya Takshasa. O Rubhus, please prepare us for conducting our sacrifice, for acquiring intelligence and wealth in the form of food, instructions, strength, etc., which may lead us to excel and progeny, so that we may be surrounded by valiant heroes. Please confer on us good knowledge and wealth for increasing our strength. This look and the next one. The vehicle that is mentioned here may not correspond to a chariot in a literary sense, especially since it is said to carry Indra. Seer of the Sukta may be meaning the body-mind combination of a human being which serves as the carrier of Jivatma, Indra. Victorious wealth is indicative of this idea. This indicates that drop of flowing essence of Atma Soma is the engine the seer of the Sukta has in mind in these two riks. Adakshata 111.3. O brilliant intellectuals and leaders of man, you please bestow on us the gift of knowledge and bestow on us materials required for the construction of a vehicle. Let all knowledge, our victorious wealth, let us all acknowledge our victorious wealth. May we win our known and unknown foes. 111.4. Rubhukshanam Indrama. For protection, I invoke the mighty Indra, and for drinking extracted Atmiya Soma essence, I also invite the Maruts and the Rubhus having superior intelligence. The two twins Mitravaruna and Ashwins are also being invoked here. May they urge us to acquire wealth and intelligence for gaining victory over our enemies. This look and the next one, they are self-explanatory. The next one is the last in this sukta, 111.5. Rubhur Parayasam. May brilliant intellectual Rubhu, who is quick in action and is conqueror of his enemies, make us strong in battles against our enemies and protect us and our wealth. May Mitra, Varuna, Aditi, the oceans, the earth and the shining space or sunlight magnify that wealth. The next suktam is mainly on Ashwins from Seth Kutsa, Suktam 112. Every rook in the Sukta, except the last two, ends with a prayer to Ashwins to come to the sacrificers with their powers. All-pervading nature of their powers is brought out in the first 23 riks of the Sukta. From this suktam, one can logically infer that Ashwins could be body-attached Paramatma-Jivatma combination, present in the heart space of all human beings. This combination bestows existence and consciousness on all living creatures, including human beings. With this assumption, all activities attributed to Ashwins in the various riks in the Sukta become easily explainable. 112.1. Ile Dyava Prithvi. In the way hot and shining soul of Agni is praised for desirable intelligence, I invoke the space and the earth. O Atmiya Ashwins, I invite you to come to us with all your protective powers. May we get a part of your protective powers. in our battle for acquiring wealth or knowledge. May all get existence and consciousness from Ashwin's body attached, universal Jivatma, and moving witnessing self combination. This is just the essence of the Rig. Part of the protective powers could mean the spiritual light of Atma. The last pada of the Rig is repeated in the first 23 Rigs of the Sukta. Yuvar Dhanaya 112.2. O Atmiya Ashwins, you uphold people and sustain them well who are free from evils. You sit in your vehicle for giving gifts. People listen to your words attentively, just like disciples hear teachers' words. With whatever powers you protect desirable intellect and actions, please come to us gracefully with these protective powers. Ashwin, sitting in the heart space of all, uphold every living creature on the earth. They give the greatest gift, namely existence and consciousness to all. 112.3. Evam Tasam. O leaders of men, shining Ashwins, with the power of that shining immortal being, namely Atma, you dwell in ruling over human subjects. Whatever powers are there to protect noble speech of the Vedas, please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Ashwin's power is derived from the spiritual rays of Atma, birthless Brahman, brought by Atmiya Bhavamana Soma. Yabhi Parishma 112.4. By which power the wind, mover in all directions, son of the earth and atmosphere, and swiftest among the swift, beautifies all things with the vigor of his son Agni, and by which power one becomes a knower of three bodies. O Ashwins, please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Agni supplies energy and wind or pranas to all. In combination with Ashwins, Agni and pranas sustain the bodies of all creatures. The three bodies stand for body, mind and ego respectively. Yabhirebham Nivratam 112.5. O Ashwins, by which powers you raised up your admirer, who is fettered and abandoned from the ocean of miseries for seeing the sun or his own self, by which you protect a genius, who is a praiser desiring to distribute his knowledge, please come to us graciously with those protective powers. For a person meditating on Ashwins, residing in his own heart space, they reveal oneness of Atma, the truth. May Ashwins come to the knowledge sacrifice with this power. In all the books that follow, various activities of Ashwins are described. These should be clear, at least most of them, without further elaboration. Body attached Paramatma Jivatma twin Ashwins is certainly responsible for all these activities, which are to be described from now on. 112.6. Yabhirantakam. O Ashwins, with what powers you protect a destroyer of miseries and slayer of foes in battles, by which without inflicting pain you preserve a nourisher of people, by which you satisfy an employer of many workmen and a scholar of sciences, please come graciously with those protective powers. 112.7 Yabhi Shujantim. O Ashwins, by what powers you protect him who purifies all, who gives wealth to the needy, who is a sociable person, is austere and is performer of sacrifice, surrounded by noble persons, and by which you protect persons who travel in the atmosphere and who have powerful hands to overcome the wicked, please come to us graciously with those protective powers. 112.8 Yabhi Shachibhi. O showerers of happiness, Ashwins, by whatever powers you enable a man who does not follow the righteous path, as he is blind and deaf spiritually, to see the right path and to hear the true words of wisdom, and by which you free quail-like ignorant men from the grip of a ahambhava, fool-like, wolf-like person. Please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Yabhim Sindhum 112.9 O ever youthful Ashwins, by what powers you make the rivers full of waters, not to dry up, by which you satisfy a performer of righteous deeds, and by which you protect a wielder of a powerful weapon like thunderbolt, and persons who are Vedic scholars, please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Ashwins are said to be responsible for the manifestation of water. Yafir Vishpalam 112.10 O Ashwins, by what powers you protect an army led by a protector of people in a battle that brings much wealth for the victor, who is invincible, and by which you protect a hero desired by all, who is an expert fighter on horseback and is destroyer of foes, please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Yabhis Sudanu 112.11 O charitable Ashwins, by which powers cloud showers waters on a very wealthy trader and son of a mighty person, and by which you protect a worshipper or seeker of knowledge, and who is a companion of noble persons, please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Yabhi Rasam 112.12 O Ashwins, by what powers you fill up a canal with flowing waters, by which you cause the manufacture of horseless vehicles to conquer enemies, and by which you bring in brightness to a man who strongly dislikes threefold evils, please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Threefold evils means evils associated with thought, speech and action. 112.13 Yabhis Suryam O Ashwins, by what powers you protect a genius who takes people to distant places like that of the sun, namely the space, and by which you protect a teacher of bearers of knowledge and a possessor of noble virtues in discharging his duties, please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Yabhir Maha 112.14 O Ashwins, by what powers you protect in battle, a respectable person who is a good host to his guests and an arranger of proper use of water by the people, and one who is a giver of light of true knowledge, and by which you protect a righteous man who is in fear of robbers, wicked men, etc. Please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Next, 112.15. Yabhir Vamram. O Ashwins, by what powers you serve a person who is a drinker of essence of nourishing herbs, who is desired by all, who is destroyer of miseries, and who is possessor of a wife, and one who resorts to vomiting for curing diseases, and by which you desire a man having many horses and a highly intelligent person. Please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Curing diseases is another activity attributed to Ashwins. They are considered as divine physicians for body as well as mind. 112.16. Yabhirnara Shayave. O leaders of man Ashwins, by what powers you give peace to someone who had a sound sleep before, by which you cause happiness to one who is free from all defects, by which you give land to a righteous king who protects his subjects well, and by which you give rays of justice to a just person, by which you shoot arrows on the foes. Please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Peace experienced by a person during deep sleep state is said to be because of Ashwins, which implies that they stand for body attached Paramatma Jivatma twin. Happiness experience in the waking state is also attributed to them. Yabhi Patharva 112.17. O Ashwins, by what power an Acharya protects his disciples with his spiritual knowledge, or like an army commander with strength, like the fire within the stomach, shining in a battle for acquiring wealth, and by which you protect a righteous fighter surrounded by enemies. Please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Here, enemies may stand for unreal thoughts in one's own mind. 112.18. Yabhirangiro Manasa. O scholar, you worship Ashwins with your mind. O Ashwins, by what powers you keep a person abounding in cattle perfectly happy, and by which you arrive first for the protection of a brave person who knows military science. Please come to us graciously with those protective powers and all kinds of food. 112.19. Yabhi Patnir. O Ashwins, by what powers you arrange good brides to bridegrooms for bringing various delights to them, by which you teach woe of celibacy to unmarried girls, and by which you help people to acquire good knowledge to give it freely to others. Please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Yabhishamtati 112.20. O Ashwins, by what powers you become bestower of peace to givers of knowledge and happiness, by which you protect a preserver of happiness, and by which you protect a noble, wealthy person who sticks to a policy endowed with wisdom, which is praised by all and which bestows good delight, please come to us graciously with those protective powers. 112.21 Yabhi Krushanu, O Ashwins, by what power you serve a weak person in throwing away his diseases, by which you protect youthful persons and their horses in the act of moving swiftly, and by which you provide soldiers of victorious armies with sweet, delicious food and drink, say honey, please come us graciously with those protective powers. 112.22 Yabhir Naram, O Ashwins, by what powers you protect a brave person in battle, by which you assist him for acquiring houses and wealth for the pleasure of women and children especially, and by which you protect his vehicles and engines or horses, please come to us graciously with those protective powers. 112.23 Yabhikutsam, O performers of many deeds, Ashwins, by what power you protect people by killing a violent man, a hypocrite, and a great sinner, making use of the beautiful thunderbolt, and by which you protect a liberal man who distributes his wealth to the needy, please come to us graciously with those protective powers. Activities mentioned in all the rigs till now may be associated with any one or all the three entities, body, mind and ego. The performer of action and experiencer of the fruits of actions are all pervaded in by Ashwins. They are the inspirer of actions also. In other words, body-attached Paramatma-Jivatma combination is responsible for the manifestation of the universe made of matter, gross and subtle. This idea is being brought out in the Sutta through many illustrative examples in these first 23 ruks of the Sutta. 112.24 Apnaswadi Mashvina, O destroyer of miseries and showerers of happiness, Ashwins, please endow us with cultured speech in dealings free from deceit. Please endow us with an intellect for our preservation. I invoke you too in our battle of day-to-day life for our harmonious development and growth of prosperity of all. Last ruk in the Sutta and the end of the day. Dyubhiraktuvi Pari. O Ashwins, please protect us always, by day and by night, with indestructible prosperity. May Mitra, Varuna, Aditi, the oceans, the earth and the shining space or sunlight magnify the wealth given by you. Let us close today's session here. Viramastavat.